Well, a very warm welcome, everybody, to Midnight in Tokyo. Hi everybody, a very warm welcome back to the fabulous S1 division, our flagship division here at SVR. My name is Webbo, here to enjoy tonight's racing alongside you, of course, and this is how our standings look after Daytona. We find Vader leading the championship on 90 points, but not making an appearance here tonight, I believe, missing today's race for Coach Dave Delta. Beregoz is in second now, having moved up past Arya and has 83 points thanks to his wonderful win out there in Daytona and scoring a podium every single race so far. 83 points has our Finnish flying driver, Mr. Beregoz. Arya down to third then, as I mentioned, featuring not on the podium in the previous race on 81 points. Then we have BaloFey, or BaloFey as you will also know him, in P4 on 62 points. Soulshock moves up to fifth ahead of the Stig by a single point on 48. And then you find Vicinity, BaloFey's teammate, in 7th place on 43 points. Betsy Mario has 32 with Scavy on 27. Then we've got QT and Senor Dude in joint 10th place on 26 points. Yank the Tank has 19. Jogon Sim and Jose have 13 each. Jose just debuting with the league for a stand-in from S2 last race and getting the podium as well. Wogrizzle has 6 points, and then two more reserves, both Zumrun Bijan and Jazzy Beats there on a single point in the total. Have a look at the team results. We've got a small delay going on in the background here. We have Kimmy's on 129 points, Coach Dave on 116. Team Mega are in third place on 105. Delesi have 96 points, JPI 73, Brokaga 52, and Bergstein now back at the bottom of the grid on 49 points. So very much looking forward to this one as we look forward to the following race then. A quick look then on the screen as to how the championship has changed over the course of the first 5 rounds, and we have Kimi's leading the way, as I mentioned. So these are our title sponsors as well: Kimi's Nursery and Preschool, Coach Dave Delta, Mega Transport, Delesi, Jamplakt Interiors, Brokaga, and Bergstein Transport Service as well. So fantastic to see everybody, to have everybody here for the race. And we also have for you, hopefully we will be able to get into the lobby fairly soon here. We've just had a restart, I think, from our session host. So while we do that, let's take a look at a new livery reveal, a special one for Tokyo with Coach Dave Delta. Well, there you have it. A fantastic showing from Coach Dave Delta. They in the SF23s there, they have managed to squeeze in a whole number of anime references to the proceedings. I've got 8 anime references for you to spot. Sorry, 7 anime references to spot across 5 different anime. So hopefully the sharp-eyed among you will enjoy checking that one out. Let me know who you're here to support, as I mentioned in the chat, and you can always, with the pinned post at the top of the live chat, you can follow your favorite driver, or you can set up a many multi-stream single driver POV sets from their Twitch streams linked on the pinned message, and you can call out anything that you happen to see going on during the race. I'm still waiting, unfortunately, for the new lobby to be built. Obviously, we're requiring just a technical change here on the background. So why don't we have a quick look then at some more standings that we've got prepared for you. Here are the Master Championship standings. This is all available to everybody here. You can go to info.svr-racing.com. Not only will you find Tremendous analytics from the championship as things stand, but you will also have a look and you'll be able to see individual race performances, telemetry, some tremendous analytics that Beregoz and team have built. Mega Racing lead the combined championship as things stand on 536 points, with BaloFey on 492. BaloFey announcing in the week that they're coming for Team Mega, and we should look out for them in the races to come. Kimi's Racing Team are third overall, flattered somewhat by their performance in S1, but things are not going quite to plan in the remaining divisions we have here. JPI are fourth on 388, but it's really close between really all of our teams, with Bergstein on 381. We have Coach Dave on 343 and Brokaga on 329. And a little look then, you see Team Mega have pretty much been on top since round one. It came close during round two, but they have come pretty close there overall. We can also look at the combined driver scores. How many points have the drivers scored over the course of the race? Now this is giving equal points to all drivers on all divisions. So we are looking at some multipliers for difficulty levels. But you can see actually podcast host, the SVR Into the Slipstream podcast host Empire, leads us on 101 points so far. Arya has 94, which is something of a surprise to see Arya ahead of Vader on this particular analytic, because Vader has only competed in S1 to my knowledge, and we're expecting to see obviously Arya tends to sub in for, or at least has subbed in elsewhere. You can see both Mega Racing drivers, Dummy, a new captain Dummy, and Pat Finn are on equal sixth position overall, on 86 points. Senufak has 89. And the other thing I had to mention there from the previous race was that you can also, I'll just scroll through here while we're on screen, and you can actually look at any steward results from the previous round. Perhaps we should have a quick look at the rest, but this is how things are looking in our total championship. Remember, 5 different divisions of drivers here for you in this fantastic championship, and I will just have a quick look then at the standings from any decisions from round 5, while the everything gets up to date. And you can scroll down, you can see the individual results. Beregoz with his first win overall, but you can also then see what those penalties were at the end of the race. Usually drivers have 24 hours to make an appeal to the stewards. Marginal cases, I believe, are then given the opportunity to answer, although I think not many drivers are given the opportunity to answer at this point, the claims against them with their own footage, and then the stewards make an impartial decision as a team, and have awarded the following incidents penalties from the previous round. Some warnings, but some punishments as well have gone into the previous round results. You can see BaloFey there receiving perhaps the most prominent penalty and ending up in 4th position overall from our previous race in Daytona. What have we got for you installed today? We have got a tremendously exciting plan here for our race. We've got a race around the Tokyo Expressway in Tokyo on the C1 configuration. You can find it on Google Maps actually, but it is slightly modified for better racing. I believe it is not a complete circle that we have for you. I will just head on to the main window here, and we can have a look at some pilots pushing around this circuit while I talk a little bit about it. It is a natural roadway. We would call it a dual carriageway here, 2-lane expressway in the UK. It goes underneath other road systems, but it actually goes around the Imperial Palace and National Park, essentially very most central of Tokyo, which is surrounded by a series of interconnected moats that you'll often see from the side angle here. We start at the start-finish line on the south edge of the circuit. We go through turn 1, which is Sakura Damon, and past the National Diet Library on their left. Turns 2 and 3, Miyakazaka, and then turn 4 passes by Hanzamon before going under the Chiyoda tunnel, and then flat out in most high grip conditions at least, run out of the tunnel uphill and through Chidora Gafuchi and onto another long straightaway. This passes the Museum of Modern Art on their left and the Takabashi area on the right before heading into turn 6, which is a downhill double right-hander into turn 7, passing the Imperial Palace East Gardens. We go past the Otemachi metro station and then down under another tunnel before heading into Kokoya Gaien and finishing in round corners 12, which is also the entry into the pit lane, Yarakucho, and the final corner, Hibiya, before coming onto the start-finish line. We're getting ready for qualifying. I think it's about to get underway. Only 13 drivers are showing, I think, on Hector at the moment, so we may have a situation on Hector, unfortunately. Beregoz is doing the job here. In some respects, here at our wonderful Tokyo Expressway plan, this SF23 drivers kind of have the easiest time of it, barely ever touching the brake, especially in qualifying condition, as we're getting underway then for the start of the race. I'm glad to see Pumpkin King here, Vader and Senior Fact. Vader watching on, hoping his Coach Dave seat is kept warm, and we see some good performances, I'm sure, from him. Just realised that my window has blown completely open in the comms booth, so I just need to step away for a second. Hang on. See too many things flying here for everybody, yeah, it's often you get comms booths without windows, so we're fairly lucky in that regard here in the studio. Beregoz is at the front of the pack then. Let's ride on board with him as he does his preparations for a flying lap, and we get underway. We'll watch another driver, perhaps let's watch with Scabby picture in picture for you. This is Beregoz then heading up to well, he's just gone through turn 5 into Takibashi, turn 6 and number 7 is, as I mentioned, absolutely flat out. In fact, he's tyre weaving in the middle, going through Otemachi and back down underneath the tunnel before heading into Kokai Gaien on the left, and Yarakucho, Hibaya district on his left, before powering out to start a new flying lap then with Beregoz on board with him in your main screen. Of course, the drivers are racing at midnight, flat out through Sakura Damon as they run underneath that Chiyoda tunnel. And then watch this as he approaches uphill towards Chidora Gafuchi, turn 5, cranks on the steering. It's astonishing to see these cars going through absolutely flat out. Downhill braking into Takibashi, turn 6, completely planted here. He does run pretty wide and almost hits the barrier on the way into Otemachi, but down under the tunnel. The lap will be done very soon, and as things stand, Beregoz has the clearest run here. Oh, I think a double touch against the barrier. Touching the barrier isn't the worst thing in the world, but he even downshifted as he went through. A 56.336 for him as we join the Brokaga car behind him on track. It's a long way back, actually. Let's have a look at so BaloFey goes second, just 1/10 of a second away. Wogrizzle's gone into third, Senor Dude in fifth, Soulshock in sixth, but Scabby beats them all and moves his way up to 5th place. QT sets a time 46 thousandths of a second slower only than Beregoz, and he gets up there very, very nicely. We will have you be able to watch our crowd favourite Yank the Tank, perhaps, while I try and find you BaloFey here on the main screen as he's on his second flying lap here. You can see the sparks from the cars in front. They need to try and keep the gap to the car in front if they can. Little downshift into fifth and straight into the pit lane. Actually, looks like Solshock is going to carry on though. Touch on the barrier on the way out. That's what did for Beregoz as well. And he goes through, and Solshock stays on his tyres then as we run through. Who else is on a push lap? Well, Jogon Sim is right behind him, right behind Solshock. That's a little bit too close for comfort. Vicinity so far has got a 5th place time on the board. Let's give you time information, shall we, for the running driver. That's probably not super helpful. And then a very, very busy racetrack here for Vicinity, as he's looking for an opportunity now, I think, to get himself into the pits. Beregoz is just warming up on his outlap here and defending that provisional pole position. Red goes into P5. Red, guest driving, I think, here today for the team, and usually drives in the G1 division. Red. Here goes Beregoz. He'll be hoping again, another rub on the wall. Down in 5th gear at the moment. Late upshift, especially in qualifying, as we see if Beregoz can maintain his time here. Tell you what, I will just put on some car info on the screen, and we can probably get some lap information then from him. It's a long wait before you get the right-hander. This looks so easy in the SF23 in comparison to other categories of racing that we are enjoying here at the moment. Beregoz running through the S section between Takibashi and Otemachi. Here he is, still purple. Wow, that was so late on the brakes. Stayed in 6th gear. He's got a car directly in front of him who clatters into the barrier. I don't think they made contact, but it did cost him enough time before he ended up out of proceedings. Let's find you QT main screen then, because he is the man most likely, it seems, after having a couple of really disappointing races by his high standards, really fancies his chances here. He's 46 thousandths of a second slower on his first lap. A tiny touch on the barrier again as he crosses the line. This is the start of QT's fast lap then, and we have very few drivers actually that we can use picture in picture. I'll give you BaloFey in 3rd place, and you'll know before I do how that lap is looking. This one is 1/4 of a second down at the moment for QT. That might be too much to make up for. Running on through then the Chidoriga Fuji corner. Yeah, he's lost time. Looks like the tyres are beyond hope. Very wide entry into Takibashi. Turn right in 7, left in 8, right in 9. Otemachi under the tunnel. So close to the walls, touching the walls, using the walls to even slow down slightly as we run then through and out of the final corner. It was, unfortunately for him, a slower lap that time out. Well, Beregoz is going to try and do a 3rd set of tyres as he runs incredibly low on the fuel. Let's try and find you a driver who is still pushing on a hot lap. Well, it looks like Vicinity has got loads of traffic in front of him, and he's up on his time. Remember, he is 6th place right now, Vicinity, and he's got a really good gain on this lap. Very tight and difficult through this sequence of corners, but he's up by nearly 6/10 of a second, following in the sparks. A face full of sparks here, down into 5th gear. Beregoz was holding that in 6th, but Vicinity with his setup feels like he needs to drop that extra gear or 2 across the line, and it is a better time for Vicinity, but he only goes up to 5th place so far. Let's see where Beregoz is. Well, he's got Joe Sim on track directly in front of him. It's 0.3 of a second to the good, but Joe, I think, is on a hot lap. Here comes Beregoz. Feints to the outside, unless that was just giving a tow to his teammate. It may have been the co-driver cooperation going on. Beregoz, now it's his turn to be 0.6 of a second up. With fumes left in the fuel tank, should be fine to get him home. Can we keep it out of the barriers? 0.7 of a second. Beregoz is faster on this lap alone. Look at the angle through the penultimate corner, Yarakucho corner, into Hibia and across the line, and it is 0.7 of a second faster now from Beregoz. Absolutely lightning speeds here. Let's have a look. What about Mario? Bedsty Mario. Currently, I don't have him on my screen, so I will have to just have a look. Essentially, his best so far, a 56.5. The AN division were running 1 minute 10 and 1 minute 11 times. They actually had to use the brake from time to time throughout the course of the lap. It's 0.3 of a second for Bedsty Mario, slower than he has been before. It's anyone's guess then. Beregoz holding on by 5.5 of a second from BaloFey and QT in third place at the moment, who's on an outlap currently. QT might still feature here as Beregoz pits. Into the pits goes Bedsty Mario. It is a tremendously, horribly bright pit lane here as we join QT then on his outlap, clattering the barrier. This is going to be so intense, this race. Thankfully, the threat of rain seems to have diminished for the drivers. It has rained today in Tokyo, but it has dried out for them. The tunnel sections playing absolute havoc with the opportunity to use the intermediate tyres, as QT has to really steer quite significantly wide and off his racing line. 8 seconds of qualifying remain, so anybody not on a lap already has barely any time to get across the line before their lap is finished. Confirm this as the final lap. Lap update for QT, 3.5 of a second, but he's knocking on the door of BaloFey's second position. Wow, absolutely seesawing the wheel, trying to get that extra little line through here. Wow! Almost came completely a cropper, but kept his foot absolutely planted through Kogoya-Gayan, and QT finishes on a 56.4, I think it was. This is Beregoz coming out of the pits for no apparent reason. Let's find you somebody still pushing hard, as you've got results in your picture-in-picture, of course, from BaloFey. No one else, I don't think, is still setting a time. So it looks like it's going to be Beregoz, who I think was in fourth or maybe sixth position. Beregoz then with the fastest time ahead of BaloFey, QT, Wogrizzle. I think that's vicinity in fifth place. He was looking forward to the chaos, I think, generously. Here are the results from the top 8 as they finished, but we will get underway for you momentarily. I'll hopefully be able to get you some excellent results here coming up from Hector. Let me see if I can get hold of those for you. Hector usually messages me here. So I've got session has ended. That was a bit earlier. I'm still waiting. I've only got the AN division standings here. I will see if I might be able to get hold of them via the website. I don't know how quickly that is going to populate, but I'll do my best for you. Let's try and get you that information. I don't think it has updated just yet. Let's see. Oh, I might have some results, you know. Race results not available yet. Apparently that's Aria's fault on the website, sadly. 3 after the hour, the lobby will be changing, and Soulshock. It looks like Red has disconnected potentially. That's astonishing. Really bad luck from Red. But hopefully he left a time in the qualifying session. Where was he? No. Well, he's got a DNF, but he did register a 56.776. So hopefully he's not far off there. Yes, I hope everybody's doing well. Looking forward to this one. Senior Fact says, holy crap, Beregoz. The SFs are truly crazy around here. Bummy's cheering on Mega as usual. Vader hopefully still watching with us despite being unavailable to race today. So Beregoz telling Redux to check Hector. Redux is not in our race, so I don't know if that's an engineer situation that he's looking for some assistance. Yeah, very intriguing qualifying there for you. And I don't think my Hector results are showing accurately at this point. It would be great if Hector could hold the results of the previous round in between lobby changes, but this is just we're still working out all the kinks here of everything when it comes to our tremendous presentation here at SVR Racing. I hope everybody has subscribed to the channel. Please make sure that you do subscribe. I was tempted to turn comments on only for subscribers. Such is our need to get you to subscribe. But I think there comes with that a certain delay there from everybody. Accelerator Simulator says, Bummy. Yes, it is not, your left foot does not get much of a workout, and even when you drop gears, quite often it is just dropping a gear with the foot off the accelerator. It's not even much in the way of action from anybody else. I don't think anybody's actually on track at the moment for you, unfortunately. This is Beregoz as he waits in the pit lane, and we wait for the race to happen. Redux is covering for Stig, says Phil. Thank you very much for the information, although I didn't see him. Oh, there he is, RDX. I was looking for RED, but he's done the right thing and called himself RDX because red is red, of course. So Redux has appeared for us in the number 45 for the Stig in Jamplacht. So we get ready for the race. I'm looking forward to seeing everything that's happening. Redux is now connected, says QT. Now that's great information to receive. Still waiting. I wasn't, I think, made a race director of this particular race with Hector. So we're being asked for a break here. So let's hope that essentially he's got time for a quick moment just to freshen up before we go racing for around an hour here. So yeah, looking forward to this. I hope everybody else is. This is round 6 of the championship. Let's have a quick look, shall we, at the championship as things will progress throughout the course of our races. I will go back to standings, and here is the race calendar through the course of the next few weeks. We are currently, of course, at Tokyo Expressway. Then we head on to Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya Grand Prix layout. Hopefully Vader will be able to show up for that one because that's his home track, of course. We've got Kyoto Driving Park heading. We have in sim racing, we have absolutely no concern about flights around the world. So Kyoto Driving Park back to Japan for Yamigawa. And then the Red Bull Ring on 6th of July. Don't forget, of course, the GT3 drivers, the G1 and G2 divisions, will be racing on the off weeks in between. So Red Bull Ring, 6th of July. Dragon Trail Seaside, 20th of July. Senior Fax stomping ground there in Croatia. Then we go to home of Sparky Watt, Belgium, for Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. And a little moment and mention here that it is Red's favourite track, which he never ceases to inform me about when we happen upon it on a Wednesday night fun racing. We got the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit for round 12, and we finish at the Cathedral of Speed, the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, on the 31st of August. So we obviously everything with my commentary in the lead divisions. Make sure that you're subscribed to my channel as well, and you will get 6:30 UK time racing every Sunday. Then at 7 p.m. UK on a Thursday night, you will see the alternate divisions that have been held. So we get a nice bit of midweek racing here for everybody, and hopefully we'll look forward to this one. I think I have now just been sent from Solshock the results of qualifying. I have got those results from qualifying. Bear with me while I read them out essentially to you. Beregoz with a 55.594 ahead of BaloFey at 56.151, QT 56.3, Wogrizzle 56.4, Mario on 6th place a 56.5. How close do you like it between P4 and wow, P11? They are sequential, essentially half a second separating P4 and P11 here. Mario ahead of Vicinity, Red, Scavy, Redux in 10th, Solshock in 11th, Senor Dude in 12th, Yank the Tank 13th, with Joe Gonsim just hundredths of a second between Senor Dude and Yank the Tank. Joe Gonsim in 14th, and Jay well, actually in 14th position. I was reading off an Excel spreadsheet momentarily there. Let's have a look at our regular season drivers and the teams competing today. Okay, well, everybody is ready for racing now. Let's have a quick look at the weather radar just to be sure. Looks like no weather has been moving in. It's not out of the realm of possibility for the racing today. It is still a cloudy, chilly overnight period here in around 2:30 a.m. Tokyo local time. But yes, we're not expecting to see any rain at this stage. There's the lake or the moat that surrounds the Imperial Palace and and the East Gardens, or the National Park here in Tokyo. And of course, a massive mix of our building styles and various scenery around. But the drivers won't be thinking about that. They'll just be thinking right-hand turn, slight left, tunnel, right-hand turn, snake, slow to finish, and avoid traffic wherever possible. I have heard that this week on Gran Turismo 7, this particular one of the Tokyo Expressway circuits has actually added some traffic but like genuine traffic. So hopefully we we are ready. So race starting in 2 minutes, says Soulshock. 2 minutes. So fantastic. We are almost there for you. I've used up all my extra content for you. But yes, avoiding traffic, avoiding drama is going to be a really big deal around here. And I tell you what, why don't we just watch a hot lap on board one more time. So absolutely intense, crazy sensation of speed here in the SF23s as we get ready for racing. Let me hear everybody's predictions for the podium. You can only choose 3, but lots of SVR credit and street cred, of course, for anyone who gets it right. I really hope everybody is looking forward to this. Remember to follow the link at the pinned message in chat if you want to follow specific drivers, and call out anything that you see that might be worth me looking at. I'm not infallible, of course, and it's perfectly possible for me to miss things while you're watching your favorite driver. Call out especially if they're getting close, or you happen to know or notice something has just happened. Although that can be a little bit late for the replay buffer. If you think something is about to happen, that would be fantastic. If you wouldn't mind just making sure that you do whatever possible. Looks like we have got Twitch connected to the majority of our drivers. I'm going to give you I think Scavvy to watch, who starts in 13th position. I'm not quite sure why Senior Dude is saying hello to me at the moment, but we are ready to get underway. Soulshock says starting, giving drivers an extra minute and the commentator an extra minute to fill for here. Looks like we are down to the final countdown, as Biggerwood says. JPI 1-2. Well, yes, okay, fair enough, but you haven't given me your 3rd place podium either. Beregoz and BaloFey at the head of the field then for the start of our fantastic round 6 of the championship. Let's get you everything you need to see and nothing that you don't as we get ready for racing. Beregoz in the lead, BaloFey in 2nd, QT and Wogrizzle back on row 2. The camera angle's restricted by the buildings as we get ready for Tokyo Expressway, and it's drop the clutch and go. Beregoz and BaloFey away fairly well compared with one another, as it's about to get very congested here at the expressway in Tokyo. The front 2 getting away neat and tidy. There's already sparks flying. Let's see if everybody makes it through the Sakadoro Raman corner for the first time neat and tidy. That was, I think, Red touching the wall on the way through, but hopefully avoiding damage. He started on the medium tyres. Some drivers would have started on different tyres, and it is absolutely bedlam as they head through the right-hander of Chidori Gafuchi. And there you see a great up-close view, and the sparks that are flying from everybody as they run through the corners with the multiple cars left and right of each other. This is riding on board the Kimmy's Racing reserve driver, Red, as he tries to use this slipstream and heads down in towards that penultimate corner. We are going to be racing for a hell of a long time around here, but the drivers, as ever, very keen to try and make it count. That was a big problem then for, I think, Betsy Mario. Let's perhaps try and ride and get a replay of what happened to Mario here as he goes into the corner. A little nudge in the rear. Again, a second one. as he turns then in towards the final corner on the hard tyres. A third tap from the Coach Dave driver just in front of him. That was Senor Dude. I'm sure no malice meant in it, but unfortunately that was triple contact with the back of Bedsty Mario. A distinct lack of patience for the medium shot driver as Red is in 7th position. Bedsty Mario in 8th, with Scavvy making his way from the back row of the grid, or penultimate row of the grid anyway, up into 9th position on the medium tyres as the Bugstein cars have also changed liveries for today. Yank the Tank in 11th place, Jogon Sim with J, Redux at the very back of the grid. So a bold prediction from Biggerwood, if we are going to get a 1-2 for the team. Beregoz leads ahead of BaloFey, and their gap is 3.1 seconds back to Wogrizzle in 3rd place on the medium tyre. QT flashes past our camera position in 4th, and Vicinity hot on his tail. Team Mega then looking at a 2-5 at this stage of proceedings. Senor Dude not a million miles away, but certainly Vicinity at the back of this group, who are potentially looking at the podium. The sparks fly. This is absolutely incredible speed and action already. Senor Dude and Red 6th and 7th, maybe an asterisk next to Senor Dude for his contact with Mario, who on the hard tyres is starting to cause a bit of a moving roadblock here, but he'll be good later on. He's got front left light damage on the front left corner of the car, as it looks like QT and Red have pitted on the end of lap 2. Such is their situation. We have no minimum number of pit stops in this street circuit today, but they have obviously felt like they are being hampered by the tyre choice that they're on, and possibly damaged to be repaired. Soulshock follows Bedsty Mario. This is what it looks like on board to follow a car quite so closely behind. We've got a Bugstein driver directly behind us, but there's a small gap out there. As you see Scavvy in his POV in the bottom right corner of your screen, then a great slipstream from Soulshock, peels to the inside, needs to duck out of it. There really is barely any room to go 2 cars wide. You have to wait for a mistake for the car in front of you, quite frankly. How I wish some drivers had done that in the previous race for the AN division. As we head down into Kukoya Gayan and Yarakucho corners, passing Hibiya district on the left and the pit lane, and then for Soulshock we run through in P7 at the moment, and we continue on our way then with Scavvy in 8th place. Jogon Sim right behind Scavvy then. We've got tremendously close battles going on. This is possibly the closest battle on the grid. This is 0.3 of a second between Jogon Sim in 9th place and Scavvy in 8th. Again, picking up those sparks all through the course of the race, but especially over the change of surface that happens when you're driving. It's just like thump, 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 thump as you go over those joins in the road surface. But what's happening is you're spraying sparks at the back of the car the entire way through and down into the tunnel out of turn 10, approaching Kukoya Gayan, turn 11 now. And was that a driver going out of shape? That was Soulshock in the pits. Bedsty Mario heading into the pits as well, off those hard tyres, perhaps deciding that those hard tyres were absolute trash and not worth their time. QT and Red will pick up positions now, having got out into some clear air, I feel. And this is Red with the other pit stops underway at the moment. Red will be hoping to get past at least Soulshock and Mario as they run through, and I think he didn't manage to do that. In fact, Yank the Tank is at the back of the grid at the moment, just losing grip on the tyre at this stage. And then we've got Beregoz and BaloFey flashing past our fixed camera positions, but driving tremendously. Medium tyres for Beregoz and for BaloFey at this stage. Wogrizzle hasn't yet informed Hector of his tyre choice. Might be keeping his powder dry for a moment here. Use of the overtake happening for BaloFey, trying to stay with Beregoz, but the gap between P1 and 2 and the rest of the grid, 6.3 seconds back to Wogrizzle, who's completely in no man's land here at the moment. We join Vicinity on board as we chase down Senor Dude for Coach Dave Delta with their brand new anime livery. Great run here for Vicinity, using the overtake, but I don't think he's going to get the overcut. It's going down the inside. Oh, that was very, very marginal, but he didn't gain an advantage from the slightest of contact, both with the car on the left and the barrier on the right. He's doing his level best here. So the progress so far, QT down 6 positions in 9th place. Great qualifying for him as Vicinity clatters the barrier and picks up damage now, front and front right. For Vicinity, that feeds into a worsening situation as he then brushes the wall on the left on the way through past the pit lane in Hibiya district. Now we're heading into Sakura de Mon corner and past the National Library on the left. We go into Miyakazaka of turn 2, 3 and 4 of Hansamon, and he's lost a huge amount of progress then to the car in front. Scavy's starting to catch him. You're picture in picture. You see how bright it is in the tunnel. Dial that up several notches before you go to feel it in the pit lane. Racing in the dark here, and then you go straight into the pit lane. It is a frighteningly light and bright situation, especially if you suffer from migraines. So Scabby going black and teal for today. The Buckstein drivers have gone for a slightly personalised style on their different liveries. That was Vicinity pitting very early. This is going to be the pattern of our race. Unscheduled pit stops, I feel. Drivers may wish to refuel to the max, may decide though that it's just not worth it. They're going to be back in again soon enough, picking up more positions. Brent's wishing everyone good luck. But yeah, call out anything that you're seeing at the moment. Redux passing, being passed by QT. That was for the 2 Yamplakt drivers. Here is this is QT then, as we go for the off-board picture. This was worked between the 2 of them. Redux with a little duck out of the throttle there just to allow his teammate through, and QT into 7th place then, 29 seconds now off the lead of the race. Scavy, Jogon Sim and QT. Beregoz might be thinking about one stopping again, as he did in Daytona, but of course he's got to stay clear of the walls at this stage, and that is no easy task. Vicinity in 9th now with Soulshock right behind him. Soulshock still on his starting tyres, I believe, running here. Ren saying survival is key. Absolutely. Absolutely for Soulshock and for the other drivers in the field. We have a full field because we've got our reserve system here in SVR. This is the VR Sim Racing World Championship exclusive to PSVR2 drivers, of course. I think Soulshock's got a change of helmet here that I hadn't noticed before. Let's try and get up close to that one. Seems to be some eyes. Certainly he's had like a luchador style mask close up there with him. So I'm sure he'll let me know those details. Jay is reserving for Coach Dave, sitting in Vader's seat here, and we've got Mario in front. Jay in 12th, and Red right with this battle, managing to almost make the pass is Red, as we'll join him in chase cam, pushing the Coach Dave car forward, and Red really needs to just chill out a moment here. I think he'll pass him. Wow, Jay with a very late decision to go into the pits. That's how bright your screen is. But let's see, did he actually end up crossing the line on entry? There was the push on the way in. There's no indicator here for him. He can't indicate. He tries to turn, and I think he is going to pick up a penalty as he comes out of the pit lane. Jay, let's just confirm that as he comes across. There it is, 3 seconds for transgressing that pit lane entry. It is incredibly close, but Jay down into 14th position. Beregoz leads us by 2 seconds ahead of BaloFey in the Team Mega Black and Chrome for this Tokyo and night race sequence we have here. 1.8 seconds now. It looks like Redux and QT just swapping positions. Let's try and get you that replay as quickly as possible. Here we go. Here is Redux and QT again. Oh, it's going into the pit lane. Is that QT heading in? It's damage again for QT, front and front right damage, unfortunately for the Jamplakt Interiors lead driver and team boss and company owner as well. QT back out again, second. I think unplanned pit stop for QT, I'm afraid to say. Let's make sure you get a different driver. We'll stay with Bergstein Transport Service and give you Yank the Tank with his multi-camera stream as we see what's happening with Wogrizzle. Well, he's being caught now by Senor Dude. I want to say it's closer. No, I think he might be. It might have just lapped. He might have just lapped Senor Dude's teammate Jay. So I was slightly confused there for a moment as you get that sensation speed with our rabbit cams from essentially from Greyhound Racing, and you see the Brokaga in the black and green of Wogrizzle, our Canadian driver. Finland leads, Italy leads 3 Canadians before you get 2 American drivers and the Northern Irish British driver Vicinity in P8. Vicinity wearing the Irish flag on his halo, but the British flag, of course, on the right hand of screen. Let's have a look. Did Vicinity pit there or did no? Looks like Solshock's just made a pass on Vicinity. Look at this. I think that was by using the overtake button. Certainly Vicinity was trying to defend with the overtake button as well, but that was Solshock through then, as Vicinity is almost wall riding. Wall riding is not allowed here, so if you're full throttle and you touch the wall, you will pick up a penalty. But yeah, tremendous running then from our great drivers here. But already a field spread first to 8th of 41.9 seconds. Wow! As Solshock is testing the tyre, testing the grip, mid-corner through Mia Kazaka and down into Hansamon for the Chiyoda tunnel. Back out again already, heading towards Chidori Gafuchi corner. And by the time I've said Chidori Gafuchi, they're already through it. Big changes happening on Hector at the moment. I think that's QT dropping down to 13th position. Let's have a look. Where is QT? This is after a pit stop. Another pit stop for QT. It's back out in 13th place. Jay bravely tackling Tokyo Expressway central clockwise configuration as a reserve. Who would volunteer for that? In the front of the grid, Beregoz has a lead of 2 seconds over BaloFey. Let's have a quick look at fuel and tyre usage. It is almost identical between these 2 great racers. BaloFey with a chance here of a potential win. And you've got to say, at the moment, it is between Beregoz and BaloFey with a gap behind to 3rd place of 13.2 seconds. But they haven't yet had to deal with too many lapped cars. I think that will start to become an issue for them later on. Let's have a look then down at the battle for P8 at the moment. Here is Solshock in 9th. Absolutely with Vicinity again. Solshock following through. Behind him is Mario in 10th place. I just want to sit back and watch these drivers without talking, because it is astonishing how they're going through these corners. Solshock slipping back behind Vicinity, I think, due to getting some damage. He's gone into the pit lane. Bedsti Mario still on those hard tyres. I think still without damage. And slowly but surely, whoa, massive twitch coming through the Sakura Damon corner as he's still feeling out these hard tyres. Let's ride on his nose here as he runs through the nothing corner of Chidori Gafuchi. In the AN and GT cars, that corner is definitely a significant corner. Looks like Senor Dude now in the pits, promoting Joe and Scavvy up the order. Let's join Senor Dude, shall we, in the pit lane as he heads in for a new set of boots. Pit lane cam for you for a moment. This is Mario in 9th, clatters the wall and picks up his first damage that I can see. Getting a bit too close and almost getting matching damage on the other side, just equalising the damage on the front wing. Joe is 5th. Go Delesi, says Senor Fac. Let's, while you're calling that out, why don't we go ahead and see, because that gap is now opened out. This is Joe. Wow. Past the camera position. Scavvy right behind him for Bergstein. I have to say, Bergstein drivers, in the night conditions, your livery does look too much like the Brokaga team. Not in the tunnels, but in the low-lit expressway sections. All I'm seeing is black and green as Scavy now pits. And that might be on schedule. That might be plan A for Scavy. How about Jogon Sim and Delesi running first and fourth place? Remember, these teams are seeded. We had one from the top and one from the bottom half of the draw in every team through the qualifying and seeding system. So to see 2 cars in the top 5 is obviously a very, very strong situation for them. Senior Dude just alternating between himself and Scavy and Vicinity's positions. There we have it. So let's go to Vicinity, and behind him he has Scavy just following. And Scavy is now on the new hard tyres. He's going to be suffering the dirty air effect. Are the hard tyres a good choice today, I wonder? Thanks to the fact that you may not actually get them up to an operating temperature before you hit damage. They are closing in, Vicinity and Scavy, I think, on the back of Senior Dude, by the look of my timing screens at least. There's certainly 2 sets of sparks from Scavy's position. Here we are, right on the very nose tip of a car. Scavy certainly suffering on the hard tyres here at this stage, and Vicinity is also on the hard tyres, but he's been on those a little bit longer. A fully repaired vehicle at this stage for the Team Mega former captain, the number 42 driver, and he brought the chrome paint scheme to Team Mega as well, and it looks glorious in the night conditions. We'll be going back to daytime racing for the next round. I think it's Barcelona next. I think that's right. Just need to go ahead and check myself there. Yeah, Barcelona in 2 weeks' time for everybody. A circuit the drivers will be a lot more familiar with, and a lot more room on that circuit for overtakes. Bedstein Mario, Yank the Tank, potentially having some sort of contretemps here. Here we go, and this is Yank for Bergstein, Mario for Brokaga. Is this going to be using the overtake? Absolutely, but you've got to be there to make it count. Down we go into Takebashi, turn 6, and through. Great overtake from Yank the Tank, and he now pits. So he makes a great overtake, and he promptly goes ahead and he pits. P3 is BaloFey, who has now pitted and has come out just behind Wogrizzle. So BaloFey on new hard tyres. This is going to be a very differently feeling Mega Transport car. It's going to feel like he's changed car, I think, and now he's got dirty air as well as he heats up those hard tyres. I think in front of them is not actually Beregoz, the leader. The gap for Beregoz, 19.9 seconds, virtually clear of a pit stop. Look at the sparks flying from 4 cars in sequence as they run through Chidori Gafuchi corner. Great slipstream here for BaloFey. Still not really using the overtake, just waiting. Actually dropping a gear on the way in towards Takebashi, past the Imperial Gardens, Imperial Palace East Gardens, through the Snake and past the Otimachi corner and down underneath the tunnel once again. Next up, Kokoya Gaien. He'll be so happy to see that car pit. So happy that possibly he decided to kiss the barrier on the way through BaloFey. Back into second position, and now trying to perform the undercut on Beregoz, who has been the fastest driver throughout the course of our proceedings in qualifying and the race, and so far in the race as well, a 55.883. I think he got a 55.5 in qualifying. That is insane given the fuel effect here. So clearly getting more out of the car on the medium tyres with fuel on board is Beregoz. Let's see, when was that lap actually completed? Quite a while ago. Sliding, it's lap 22 of 52. I would say that in all likelihood for the top 2 in the order, what have we got? Potentially, I think we've got the opportunity here to see just a one-stopper. Let's have a look at where the pit estimate is showing. It's showing right on top, I think, of... so I'm looking at Beregoz's pit estimate output, and that puts him at the moment behind car 92, BaloFey, or right with him at very least. Look at that red line following car 92. BaloFey is performing the undercut as we speak. He's using the overtake button as well. Beregoz has used quite a bit of it. He's picking up a toe now from his teammate. Does he decide that while he's ready and losing time and his rival behind him pits? He absolutely does. It's time to go into the pits. What can BaloFey do though here as he runs? He's got half a lap before he can catch where Beregoz is, who will want to fuel to the finish. BaloFey hasn't put a lot of fuel in this car. I'm not sure he's committing to a one-stopper here. I have no insider information for the team, I'm afraid, but I imagine that drivers have very lightly written their strategy in pencil, given the likelihood of incident and accidents here. BaloFey has taken the lead ahead of Beregoz, who has put quite a bit more fuel on board. We'll have a look at BaloFey's fuel estimate, shall we? Because I'm slightly concerned that he won't make the end. At this current fuel level, the prediction shows he'll be out of fuel by lap 46. I think that says lap 46 of the 52. BaloFey unlikely to make the end of the race. Beregoz has fueled to the end, plus a little bit of lap 52. So that is tremendous information there from Hector. But there you see a predicted fuel level running out. So if BaloFey is going to do this, he's going to have to turn the engine down or to short shift. But he's got a gap of 8.6 seconds. Let's see what he thinks he can do. Can he save essentially 6 laps of fuel before the end of this race? Crazy situation then for BaloFey, who has got a big task on his hands. Can he dump all the overtake here so that he can more accurately measure and monitor his times? 58.7 was Beregoz's last lap on with the extra fuel and on the hard tyres. BaloFey a 56.3 on that lap. So tremendously quick. He's been out for some time, but looks like he's underfueled to actually reach the finish of the race. He is getting better and better. So tremendous to see from all of our drivers so far. Your order on lap 25 of the 52. BaloFey ahead of Beregoz. We've got a pit stop happening for QT Red and Betsy Mario at this point in proceedings. We've got Beregoz in second, Wogrizzle in third, Senor Dude running in fourth position. 7 places up from where he started this race. We've got Vicinity exactly where he started on the hard tyres in 5th place, with Scabby in 6th, Jogon Sim in 7th, Soul Shock in 8th, then Redux, Yenk, Jay, QT Red and Betsy Mario, your current standings. This is Scabby chasing down Vicinity once again. They've had plenty of action here. Vicinity chewing through those hard tyres. Probably going to have to fit the softs at the end of the race, I imagine, or even another set of mediums. Personal best sector from Scabby. Moving around there, trying to break the dirty air effect, but unfortunately clattering the barrier. Scabby trying hard here for sure. Maybe trying a tad too hard. Let's go down to Betsy Mario in your picture-in-picture and see if we can tell anything that's actually happening to him. Of course, you get every moment of the driver's head movement and usage of the mirrors here. I'm not sure Betsy Mario needs to worry about his mirrors too much as he comes out of the pits. I think he's actually got his heart rate. I wanted to do that myself. He's got his heart rate on screen. Props to him. Brilliant stuff from Mario. I'm going to have to try and get that myself for my races. I wish I was wearing that today because it was hella tense for me. More tense even than Daytona. Scabby in 6th, 7/10 of a second away from rival in front, Vicinity. The closest battle on the grid at the moment. The gap at the front opening currently to 10.8 seconds with the fuel that BaloFey has got on board. Of course, if you can get out to a 19-second, 20-second gap, Wow, around the outside with contact from Scabby. Let's go and watch that again, as this is pretty insane vicinity. A little bit slower maybe in comparison. Tiny touch maybe on the barrier on the entry. Yeah, and that was barrier issues. Both of them hitting the barriers. You've got to say maybe Beds Mario not giving Vicinity a great deal of space to run in. Vicinity pits again with damage on the front wing. Onto a new set of tyres. Can't quite tell what that is, but essentially he's going to fuel to a finish now. He wasn't actually wedded to that as BaloFey pits. Let's see if BaloFey's got damage. He has hit the wall, BaloFey, unfortunately, so making life difficult for himself. He's now got just under half the race still to go. A new set of tyres going on. I wonder if the medium tyre window is open, but that very much hands the advantage here back to Beregoz. BaloFey was going faster and faster. He may have picked up traffic. This is Beregoz then. So far, so lucky with the traffic situation for Beregoz. Seems to be coming upon drivers at fairly decent gaps. Now the gap is 19.5 seconds. So BaloFey's got a ton of work to do. In fact, he's come out in third position. I can see a Pokemon sticker on Wogrizzle's car as well. And there is Wogrizzle ahead of his teammate, having just lapped him, I think. So far, lots and lots happening on circuit. Catching that Brokaga pairing currently is Senor Dude and BaloFey. Here is Senor Dude then. It's been a fairly quiet race for him so far. He gave me the content just about in enough time today. If you've got content for your team that you'd like on the broadcast, do send it my way. I can't promise to be able to broadcast everybody's content unless we have another slowdown there as we had today. It looks like BaloFey having passed the lapped Brokaga, car 53, getting out of the way. I think that's Mario, just getting out of the way of the drivers. You probably saw that picture-in-picture before I did. And BaloFey in P3, Senor Dude running in P4, closing him down then. Let's go down to P12, shall we, and see QT, who is running very, very close to Red. Also, Jay, not a million miles away. Germany, the Netherlands, Canada, all competing in this Tokyo Expressway, of course, in the capital city of the great nation of Japan, home of the Super Formulas, of course. The drivers have put different engines in the Super Formulas. Lamborghini are powering QT, Ferrari are powering Red's Kimi's car. Red with his red wheels, of course, and QT looking for that chance to get through and past. He's nearly drained the overtake tank. Battery as he runs on the outside entry down into the tunnel of Takibashi corner. He's gone into the absolute red when it comes to the amount of battery left on the car. Red has got plenty of battery left, and again you can see a nice paint scheme, nice change of colour change, purple going on for the Kimi's cars. Do look tremendous in the night lights here. The metallic purple with gold accents of Kimi's racing team. Lots of drivers also supporting various cancer causes, and it's great to see those anti-cancer or cancer charity support stickers throughout our grid here. This is QT catching the Bergstein transport driver Yenk the Tank, and let's see how bothered Yenk the Tank is feeling about all of this on his picture-in-picture. Well, QT's just passed him quite easily. Yenk on a damaged car with hard tyres as well. Red also on the hard tyres, so Red the next one to try and catch. Let's see how much Yenk is using his mirrors now that Red is catching at the front of this grid. Beregoz leads by 21.6 seconds ahead of Wogrizzle. BaloFey is in third place. Senor Dude in fourth, just ahead of Scavvy, with Jogon Sim knocking on the door, and Red goes through past Yenk the Tank as well. Remember though, Yenk with a damaged car. Let's have another look at that overtake. They are not particularly common here. Looks like it was just a slow one through the corner. Yenk suffering a lack of downforce, and then of course using the overtake button as well. Almost closing each other out as the corner pinches, essentially the racing line pinches, and it's difficult to action overtakes cleanly around here. But yeah, perhaps a little bit more space could have been left. I'll let you make up your own mind in the comments here today. It's great to have everybody with us on this glorious day of World Motorsport. Thank you for choosing to spend your live watch time with us, and if you're watching on demand later on, thank you to you guys as well, but just not as much as those committed SVR supporters who are here at the coalface watching this great race around Tokyo Expressway. BaloFey just 1 second away from second position that he must feel belongs to him. Wogrizzle might well be pitted to a finish as well. Let me just double check with the fuel loads here. They're quite similar between the two of them, and I will try and get you the pit estimate for Wogrizzle. I'm not getting a Twitch stream. Here is the fuel, and it does show him just over the 52nd lap. So these two very much ready to get home if they can keep the car out of the barriers. BaloFey continuing then to catch as we'll join him on board, and it just gets absolutely furiously quick as soon as you go on board and get low down to the ground with the drivers here. Ignore that refuel marker, it's a known bug that hasn't been fixed for years in Gran Turismo. Just so hard to even see the exits of the corners when you're driving through a shower of sparks from the car in front. 0.8 of a second the gap now, and BaloFey on the hard tyres going only 0.2 of a second slower than his absolute best, which is a 56.1 on lap 26, which was fresh tyres if I remember correctly at the time. Just prior to hitting the wall, we'll be incredibly careful at this stage, but it looks like Beregoz has got himself away. It's a London bus situation for Beregoz, waiting for wins. He's waited so long for his first win. It looks like the second one is going to come along just 2 weeks and 1 round later, and couldn't be much more different circuits as well. BaloFey just having to correct the car through the corner, but Beregoz is in the lead of this one. And here he is, the Lessie driver, 23 seconds in the lead of the race, and trying to one-stop this one once again. Apex Dex giving us a shout out from Chicago. Thank you so much for tuning in today, Apex. Great to hear you shout up as well. That's Soulshock and Redux just swapping positions, I believe. Let's see, did something happen, or did I just miss it in the replay buffer? Here is Redux. Oh, it was a pit stop for Soulshock. Redux almost following him through. It's so easy to do. You get hypnotically attracted to the car in front of you in a trance, and they spin off into the pit lane, and then boom, you find yourself careening into the wall. More than once in practice, I took myself into the pit lane inadvertently. Here is QT fighting Vicinity, and fighting very hard. Remember, QT has spent nearly all of his push to pass. Vicinity, at last time we checked, had quite a bit left in the tank. They are costing each other dearly in terms of race time, but they want these positions very badly. The QT and Vicinity, both drivers have been into the barriers, both have visited the pits more often than they would like to have planned prior to the race, as Scavvy now pits, promoting Redux. Joe is still in 5th place. Don't forget about Joe as we go into Kokoya Gayan corner, out of the tunnel into Yarakucho, and Hibiya next across the start-finish line. Red is not a million miles away from this battle either, as they absolutely scorch past Mario, I think that was, in the Brokaga, just trying to get out of everybody's way. Oh, as QT rubs the barrier on the way through. He's looking ragged. He's looking very keen to get past here. In the background, you can just see Red, and you can see Mario this gap down to 0.2 of a second. QT is not leaving anything on the racetrack, diving down the inside. Oh, what an overtake from QT as he runs into Takibashi corner. I can't quite believe that that one pulled off. Let's here we have it from the chase cam as we get a little bit of slipstream. No overtake boost to be used here. This is a really late call. Down the inside at full throttle, but a little bit of contact on reflection. So perhaps should have lifted once he knew he was through. Vicinity won't be enjoying that on replay, I'm sure. Vicinity down to 9th place. Now you've got Red chasing him. This is absolutely brilliant to have these drivers so close to one another. But Vicinity hitting the barrier, not picking up damage. He'll be at least glad to see. On board then with Red. Quite a bit of overtake on Red's car here. He will have seen Vicinity was vulnerable into the previous time down into this corner, Takibashi. And again, both drivers being quite wide, just trying to hold the accelerator flat the entire time. And Red actually changes down on the uphill section through Otimachi and into Kokoya Gaien. He's being a lot more circumspect here, changing down the gears more frequently. Running out of room. Oh, Red around, and unfortunately straight into the path of several drivers. But in terms of unsafe rejoins, what can you possibly do? You've got to do an Austin Powers 7-point turn. Red down in 11th. Oh dear me, that is absolutely shocking. Unfortunately, Red is though reserving today in the Kimi's Racing Team car. We go back to the front of the grid, and it is Beregoz who is in P1. Empire cheers on, says is cheering up here as Monkey saying, what an overtake, Joe. My apologies, Joe, if I missed a good overtake from him. Beregoz in first, Wogrizzle in second. Here is Wogrizzle still holding off BaloFey. Holiday on the newer hard tyres at this stage. Here is Joe firing along. And he's just passed a driver, a Kimi's Racing driver, I think, but that was to put a lap on him. So Senor Dude is some 15 seconds behind. As Bummy says no, and so does Renz, cheering on Red there, and unfortunately it all coming undone for the youngster from Germany. Here is BaloFey once again then. An opportunity might present itself to BaloFey as he catches a Brokaga driver. Mario gets the benefit of a double toe while he's chasing down his teammate Wogrizzle. Wogrizzle closing off the avenue on the right hand side and into Takibashi. Is this going to be an early break? Let the guy go through. Try the switch back. There's just not enough room on this track to make the move. And BaloFey is then catching up with the car as he suffers the dirty air coming through into Otimachi. Down into Kokoya Gaien again. And he lives to fight another day, but the time is running out. We have 11 laps to go on board this car for BaloFey. Beregoz some 24 seconds up the road. The only person I think that can beat Beregoz now is Beregoz himself losing focus, or possibly coming up on a lapped run-up as we try to get a good idea about how this car feels for BaloFey. A little bit of tears from our admin watching. I think that's our that's Tequila watching here, and his teammate Red picking up damage. Red has already had his customary disconnection in qualifying, but he's working the wheel incredibly hard. Still doing his level best. Usually races in G1 does Red, so obviously taking a big step in downforce performance here in Tokyo. It's a bit hard to watch on board with the audio, I think, of the track surface changing, the road surface changing on you all the time. The rhythmic thudding as the bottom of the car grounds out, showering the drivers with sparks. There's a blue flag on the track ahead. Difficult for them, but you've got to hope that the drivers are awake to the blue flags and lifting on the straights to allow drivers through. There is BaloFey then, 1.6 seconds now, his gap. What a terrific camera angle that one is. As we run through, it's lap 43 of the 52. Beregoz leads by 24.5 seconds from this battle. Wogrizzle versus BaloFey. BaloFey, the second driver on the grid, and coming into contact with the Coach Dave Delta driver. Their special anime liveries, but hopefully no anime showing on the dashboard while they race here. And we haven't seen any billboards on the outside of the track. Probably a billboard restricted zone here at the Lake and Moat district around the Imperial Palace. There's a couple there, a Gran Turismo one I just saw, but it is somewhat demure for Tokyo, this particular central district. It's a holy ground for the Japanese around there. So if you look at some of the tourist information, you get complaints that people aren't being quiet and serious enough around the various areas of the track, around this track circuit, carved in the very, very heart of ancient Japan. This is Jogon Sim, and he's running 12 seconds away from BaloFey, some 9.5 in front of Senor Dude. Where is Beregoz at the moment? Well, he is coming upon a Bergstein Transport Service driver as he runs through, so he's got to make an overtake for his lap traffic. About 20% of his overtake remaining on the car. Because you use more fuel, the more overtake you use. So drivers, there is a slight advantage in dumping the overtake early if you're not going to be worrying about the fuel in the latter half of the race. I did hear some drivers talking about that. So flat out, Beregoz for 95% of this race track, I believe, making the pass past the home sympathetic Nismo rear wing of the new designed Bergstein Transport Service car, newly personalised liveries here. And Wogrizzle then in that next position. Let's have a look at the battle for P9 at the moment. This is Redux, just behind Vicinity actually, as we'll change and have a look at Scabby's. Let's go to Scabby's picture-in-picture. Hopefully that will load for you. Yeah, it should be on its way for you here. Redux following Vicinity. Vicinity holding the inside line. Certainly learning from earlier on when he got passed down the inside and contact. But Redux certainly doing a great job here for Yamplacht Interiors in P9. QT was incredibly quick. He's had to pit late on in the race here, lap 46, having run out of fuel. So he will come out on a new set of tyres and presumably be very quick later on. I'm not quite sure about that camera angle because it does appear as if we get completely run over on the way through. Redux then, let's go to his chase cam as he gets the slipstream, uses the overtake. He's got an opportunity then into Chidori Gafuchi, just tags the bar on the inside, wanders into the line of Vicinity, and they both then have their issues on the way through. It looks like Vicinity losing out to Soul Shock as well. This is how it looked from his perspective as he goes in towards turn 5. Chidori Gafuchi corner, goes to turn in. He's left bags of room on the outside. I don't think there was actually contact until this point, and he almost gets eased into the lay-by. Then heading down, and Soul Shock, who's been able to be flat out all the way through this run, nabs a position from Vicinity. Vicinity losing 2 places for Team Mega in that sector. Soul Shock on the return here, I think it's fair to say, on the medium tyres and fueled to a finish. 60 rips for Joe, says Pumpkin King. Everybody just hoping that the Delesi cars stay out of the wall. The neutrals, though, presumably hoping that one of those Delesis does make contact with the wall and gives us a more interesting battle for the lead of the race. However, at the moment, you've got to say, completely obliterating the field with pace. Beregoz out there in P1 with lots and lots of Fantastic laps from him. It's been faultless so far. Here is Soulshock chasing down Redux. Looks like Vicinity, well, with damage on the front of the car, is really suffering. He's low on fuel as well, but dropping like a stone through the order at this stage. Here is your leader, Beregoz. No damage on this car. He's one-stopping his way once again to potential victory. It's lap 49 of 52 for your leader as he heads down under the tunnel. He'll then resurface through Kikuya Gayan and into Yarakucho corner. Pit lane on the left, but he's ignoring that for now. Across the start-finish line with starting his 50th lap is Beregoz, leading this race, and behind him some distance, 25.9 seconds, is Wogrizzle. Let's go to Soulshock, who is within a second of Redux here. Wogrizzle's transponder just failing us for a second there as they come upon a blue flag as well. Looks like possibly we've been calling out Senor Dude is catching Joe here. 2.1 seconds between them, but there is half a second between these two. And this is Soulshock just making a great overtake then with the blue flags. Still very little boost used at this stage of the race from the Brokaga car behind. Often our reserve drivers haven't found the boost button by the time they get there. Here is Senor Dude. I think he might have just tagged the barrier. He has hurt his car. It's a red and white car here, but unfortunately for him, it's not Jogon Sim. Here is Scavy running high in the order for the Buckstein Transport Service proud racing team, having just put a lap on one of the Coach Dave cars. I think he's closing in now. Well, he's been racing in behind Beregoz and learning all of Beregoz's secrets. QT has put in a fastest lap of 55.653 at this stage of the race, which is great to see him unlocking that that tremendous pace. Gaps. Then we've got Soulshock here, around 2 seconds behind Redux, trying to catch the Lamborghini Jan-Placked interior driver. That is the closest battle at the moment. Beregoz now leads by 26 seconds with, well, less than 2 laps, I think, to go for him. That looks like Mario. That's Yank the Tank pitting. The order just changing quite considerably there. Suddenly, Scavy's transponder giving way once again. This is him that you've been watching picture in picture. Let's cut over to a different driver as we have a look at maybe, well, I can't quite work out. Well, Yank the Tank has just pitted, I believe, and we have BaloFey, and that is Beregoz across the line straight away. Tremendous win from Beregoz here at Tokyo Expressway. It was blink and you miss it, that final lap from him. Here he is crossing the line to win in Tokyo. Congratulations to him and to his Delesi team as well, as we go and have a look at Wogrizzle to get second ahead of BaloFey in third, and Jogon Sim finishing on the lead lap. Some half a lap down. Senor Dude has gone fifth, Scavy in sixth. These drivers a lap down then in the order. Redux in seventh, Soulshock in eighth. Vicinity a lap back, but finishing then in ninth place with QT in 10th. Yank, Red, Bedsty, Mario and Jay. But we're just waiting for Jogon Sim to confirm him as he comes through. The final 2 corners, Yarakucho and Hibiya corner. Across the line we go. And Jogon Sim comes into that 4th place. A 1st and 4th for Team Delesi. Tremendous result for them, but it's Beregoz with a victory, pole position, clean race, everything possible for Beregoz. What a tremendous result for the Flying Finn, and a double back-to-back win for Beregoz here and a lot of drivers, the neutral's favourite. Look at his best lap in comparison to the drivers around him. He got a 55.6. I think the fastest lap actually went by way of QT in the end. Ahead of Wogrizzle and BaloFey, your podium, with Joe Gonsim in 4th position. Senor Dude is 5th, Scavvy is 6th, and Redux in that 7th place. Soulshock came home in 8th. We have Vicinity in 9th, QT in 10th, with the fastest lap as well. And then Yank the Tank, Red, Bedsty Mario, and Jay, our reserve driver, finishing out the order here at S1 Tokyo Expressway. Don't forget, Thursday, UK time 7 p.m. On my channel for our final race of the weekend. We'll have, hopefully for you, we will have everything you need from S2 and from the AN division. And then we will also be able to see this time next week, hopefully a little bit earlier, we'll be able to see the G1 division. Well, I'm sure everyone's dead keen to get on to the Indy 500 and see another marquee race for today, this fantastic Motorsport Sunday. But from me, Webbo, from everybody here at the channel at SVR, thanks so much to all of you for watching, for taking part in the stream, for liking the video, being a subscriber, doing all the good stuff, supporting the channel financially. Whatever you can do, do it, and we'll be incredibly grateful. Thanks, everybody. It's great to have you all with us here on this tremendous race day. From me, Webbo, from us here at SVR, thanks for watching. We will catch you on the next race day.